All right, we are going to perform an RFD test, 2-finger, as you can see right here. I'm on my RFD tab. So what I could have done to find this, go to the protocols tab. I'm on all right now. I can either type in RFD if I know I'm doing that, or I can come straight to the RFD tab. Either way it works. Select RFD test 2-finger. I have an active test going, but we're going to start a new one. So I'll select there, and from here I'll go left or right hand. My device is already connected. I would have been asked to connect the device right around here, but I'll continue. You can see I'm already connected. So I will calibrate. I'll float those fingers in the finger receivers while I calibrate. There we go. We're ready. I skip past the instructions pretty quickly, but 50% of max, fingers in the top holes. Middle holes is okay here doing flexion, but I'm comfortable in the top. I have enough extension to get there, and I don't have a lot of joint laxity, so it's not like I'm scared of failing by extra finger bend when I press into the device. So I'm all good to go from the top. That making that decision can be a little bit subjective as opposed to completely objective. Kind of let the athlete be your guide. But for me, I'm all good, like I said. So I'll just do a 50% RPE rep. Awesome, done, finish. Index finger now. Just pull there, 50% RPE. Cool. As you can see, there's no target force here, which is why I say RPE. 50%, no target force, so just doing RPE. Same with the middle finger. Boom. And then we've got one more warm up with both fingers together. Perfect. All right, from here, I'm going to get my instructions coming into the actual RFD test. So I'm going to hold each rep for about a second, but what we're focused on most is how fast I'm applying force. So I'm just going to rapidly apply force down with those fingers and ride out from there. Click continue. Another thing that's important is I'm going to shift over from the force overview that we see here over to rate of force development. So we see the screen is a little bit different. Right now, if I'm doing this RFD test focused on performance or like on-field performance and what my pitches are potentially going to do or spin rate, I'm going to focus most on the 7 millisecond timestamp. If I'm focused on this for a health screening, I'm mostly going to focus at 176 in relationship to peak force. So we can pay attention to both of those as we do this, but just so you know, 7 milliseconds is where we're going to spend allocate most of our focus when it comes to performance metrics versus 176 in peak force and that ratio when it comes to health. So we got 100% of max, no real target that we're trying to get to, just max exertion. We have 8 reps of it. So here we go. Got a programmed in rest time. Pretty good first rep on 7 milliseconds. Ideally, would like that peak force a little bit higher, but this ratio is quite good. Ready for my next one? Generating force pretty quickly here. Not that numbers are necessarily good or bad, but I've got some solid experience. So anything over like 6 units of force at 7 milliseconds is really, we would consider quite high. For a pro athlete, we would like this peak force a good bit higher, certainly above 100, likely even above 110. But this ratio of 176 to peak force is definitely good. We want that ratio. We want the 176 at least at 85% of the peak force value. Now, I can certainly hold longer to generate a higher peak force, but that's not the goal here. The goal is force as fast as possible. Obviously lower on my 7 milliseconds there. I was really concerned about trying to get higher here. Just got a couple more reps. One thing you may notice is I'm kind of lifting these fingers a little bit off the paddles or off these finger receivers as I generate force. So I'm really trying to be ballistic as I pull down. And there you have it. We've completed the session. So I've done all 8 of my reps. I can click done, finish. From here, if I want to review the data, I can either go in the dashboard to do so and find my session from today's date, or I can go into history within the app. But I was solid on my 176 to peak. Would definitely like this peak number to be higher, which means we would like the 176 number to be a little bit higher as well if we're looking at this from a health perspective. But all in all, my 7 millisecond average was pretty solid. I was at or above 6 units of force roughly at the 7 millisecond on dang near all of my reps. So I'm pretty pleased with that. But there you have it, rate of force development test, 2 finger.